Okay, let's dive into this. If you're a homeowner, or maybe a military family gearing up for a move in or out of Central Texas in 2026, well, you're stepping into one of the most dynamic real estate markets in the whole country. Today, we're opening up a complete step-by-step playbook in this explainer to help you absolutely maximize your home sale in the greater Fort Hood area. And we're bringing you these insights straight from an insider's perspective, specifically a veteran-owned brokerage that's got over 31 years of experience and literally more than 1,000 closed transactions under their belt right here in this exact market. So whether you're relocating to your next duty station or, just moving across town, you're going to want to take some notes on this one.
Here's the strategic playbook we're running through today. First, the Fort Hood market rhythm. Second, the 5 selling pillars. Third, knowing your buyer pool. Fourth, the pre-launch strategy. And finally, number 5, avoiding costly pricing mistakes.
All right, Chapter 1, the Fort Hood market rhythm.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the greater Fort Hood region, it's really not your average real estate market. It demands a highly strategic approach, mostly because of one fascinating number, 1,200. Every single month, roughly 1,200 soldiers separate from Fort Hood. I mean, just think about that for a second. That creates this massive, consistent housing demand all year round, mostly from buyers who are transitioning out of service, utilizing their VA loans, and, looking to finally plant some roots.
But you see, that monthly baseline is really just the beginning. The actual heartbeat of this market is entirely dictated by PCS season. This predictable window, running from May through August, drives a massive annual surge of military buyers and sellers. Timing your home sale to actually align with this annual permanent change of station wave is absolutely crucial for your success. If you're an active duty family, listing your house in early summer to catch all those incoming buyers is a completely different and, frankly, often way more lucrative strategy than, say, listing it in the dead of November.
Moving right along, Chapter 2, the 5 selling pillars.
Selling successfully really requires a comprehensive system. Every single piece needs to reinforce the others. We're looking at 5 pillars here: pricing and market positioning, professional photography, staging consultation, maximum online exposure, and buyer lead generation. I want you to look at these as one cohesive unit. Skipping even just one of these steps significantly weakens your whole marketing strategy, and honestly, it leaves money on the table. So today we're going to spotlight a couple of these pillars just to show you exactly how they move the needle.
Take Pillar 2, for example, professional photography. Let's be real, buyers shop with their eyes first these days. And honestly, amateur, blurry cell phone pictures just do not cut it anymore. Magazine-quality HDR photos, drone aerials, video walkthroughs, these aren't luxury add-ons anymore. They're literally the entry-level requirement if you want to win a buyer's scroll on their smartphone. High-quality visual assets directly elevate the perceived value of your home, and because of that, they directly elevate your final sale price.
And that ties in perfectly to Pillar 3, staging. Research actually shows that staged homes sell up to 73% faster than non-staged homes. Now don't panic, staging doesn't necessarily mean you're spending thousands on rented furniture. Actually, scratch that. It's often more about targeted decluttering, a fresh coat of paint, or just strategically rearranging what you already have. But that intentional preparation, it directly correlates with faster sales and much higher offers, simply because buyers can instantly visualize themselves living in that space.
Okay, Chapter 3, knowing your buyer pool.
So the Fort Hood area isn't just one giant monolith, right? It's actually made up of several distinct micro-markets. For instance, you've got Killeen sitting right at the heart of the market, serving a really diverse mix of first-time military buyers and civilian relocations. But then, just right next door, Harker Heights draws a completely different crowd. Those buyers are looking for premium, newer construction, top-rated schools, and just a slightly more upscale feel. If you're selling in Harker Heights, your curb appeal and that premium presentation are absolutely non-negotiable because that specific buyer pool demands it. And this brilliantly illustrates just how wide that gap can be. Salado is basically the destination for luxury buyers. They're looking for acreage, equestrian estates, lots of historic charm. Copper's Cove, on the other hand, offers incredible value with newer homes at lower price points and a huge volume of VA loan buyers. So an agent using a luxury marketing strategy that's meant for a Salado estate, they would completely miss the mark for a value-driven Copper's Cove listing. In this market, specificity is literally everything.
Which brings us to Chapter 4, the pre-launch strategy. You know, the amateur way to sell a house is to just snap some photos and toss it up on the MLS. The expert way? It's engineering a 14-day pre-launch to generate real, palpable anticipation before the house is even technically for sale. Here's how it works.
Days 1 and 2 are all about strategy and pricing. Days 3 to 5, we dedicate to staging and professional photography. Then, days 6 to 9, this is where the magic happens. We build that coming soon buzz with landing pages, sign riders, and sneak peek emails. So by the time we hit days 10 to 14 and the listing finally goes active, you've already got highly qualified buyers literally lined up at the door. It completely transforms a chaotic process into a highly effective engineered launch.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material. We don't wait, we hunt. Because just marketing your home and actively generating buyers for your home are two very, very different things. A truly successful strategy means utilizing targeted paid ads on social media and reaching out directly to networks of VA-approved lenders. It's about actively hunting for the perfect buyer rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping someone stumbles across your listing online.
And finally, Chapter 5, Avoiding Costly Pricing Mistakes.
Even if you have perfect photos and a flawless pre-launch, there's one critical pitfall that sellers absolutely have to avoid to protect their home equity. Emotional overpricing, just to quote-unquote test the market, is the single most expensive mistake you can make. The market will punish it. Your home sits there for 60-plus days, buyers start wondering what's wrong with it, and eventually you're forced into these painful price reductions. Now contrast that with data-driven pricing based on a proper comparative market analysis. A correctly priced home attracts massive early attention, it capitalizes on that crucial 14-day pre-launch window we talked about, and very often it ends up selling at or even above the asking price.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you just putting a sign in your yard, or are you actually marketing your home to the right buyers? As we've seen throughout this explainer, selling a home, especially in a really unique, military-driven market like Fort Hood, it requires a precise, data-backed playbook. From aligning with the PCS season to executing that 14-day pre-launch, your expertise and who you partner with really matters. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this strategy helps you completely maximize your next big move.